Reeves. Sees a pregnant woman working hard at a gas station, and her actions are very shocking. Keanu Reeves had always been known for his kindness and humility. One evening, after finishing a late-night film shoot, he stopped by a small gas station on the outskirts of town to grab a bottle of water. The place was dimly lit, with the fluorescent lights flickering slightly. As he walked towards the counter, he noticed a young woman behind the register, visibly pregnant, wiping sweat from her forehead as she restocked the shelves. She moved quickly, lifting heavy boxes, arranging products, and handling customers with a tired yet determined expression. Keanu watched as she struggled to carry a crate of bottled drinks, her breath growing heavier with each movement. A concerned expression crossed his face. It wasn't right. Someone in her condition should not be working so hard. Just then, an impatient customer knocked over a display of chips, scattering bags all over the floor. Without hesitation, the woman bent down to pick them up. Keanu instinctively stepped forward. "Here, let me help," he said gently, kneeling beside her. She looked up, startled, and gasped. "Oh my, you're Keanu Reeves!" Keanu smiled modestly. "Yeah, but that's not important right now. Are you okay? Should you really be doing all this alone?" The woman sighed and continued picking up the chips. "I don't have a choice. My husband left, and I need to save every penny before the baby arrives." Keanu nodded, understanding the weight behind her words. Then something shocking happened. The woman stood up, stretched her back, and without a second thought, lifted an entire stack of heavy soda bottles like they weighed nothing. Keanu's eyes widened. "Wait, how did you?" She chuckled, wiping her hands on her uniform. "I used to do powerlifting before I got pregnant. My body's still strong, just a little more tired than before." Keanu couldn't help but laugh in admiration. "That's incredible." Feeling inspired, he reached into his pocket, pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the counter. "What's this?" she asked, confused. "A little help," he said with a warm smile. "For you and your baby." Tears welled in her eyes. I can't accept this." "You can," Keanu insisted, "and you will. No one should have to struggle alone." The woman hesitated, then hugged the envelope to her chest. "Thank you, Keanu. You have no idea what this means to me." Keanu gave her a reassuring nod, grabbed his bottle of water and walked out of the gas station, leaving behind not just a generous gift, but a moment of kindness she would never forget. As he drove away, he couldn't stop smiling. Sometimes, the most unexpected encounters reminded him of the strength people carried within them, and how, with just a little help, they could shine even brighter. Hope you like. Keanu Reeves left the gas station, but the image of the hard-working pregnant woman stayed in his mind. As he drove through the quiet streets, he thought about how resilience could exist in the most unexpected places. The next morning, he made a few calls. A week later, the woman arrived at work to find a surprise. A representative from a charity organization approached her with a letter. Inside was a full financial grant to cover her expenses until after childbirth, along with a job offer for a less physically demanding position. She was stunned. She never knew how much one act of kindness could ripple into something life-changing. Somewhere in the city, Keanu smiled, knowing he had done the right thing. Days passed, and the woman found herself waking up with a lighter heart. She no longer had to push her body beyond its limits, and for the first time in months, she felt a sense of security. With the financial support, she was able to quit her demanding job at the gas station and focus on preparing for her baby's arrival. One evening, as she sat by the window of her small apartment sipping tea, she received a call from an unknown number. Hesitantly, she answered. "Hello?" A familiar voice responded, calm and kind. "Hey, it's Keanu." Her breath hitched. She stood up, pressing the phone closer to her ear. "Keanu Reeves?" He chuckled lightly. "Yeah, I just wanted to check in, see how you're doing." She felt a lump in her throat. I don't even know what to say. You changed my life." "That's all you," he replied. "You were already strong, just needed a little help." Tears welled in her eyes, but they were happy tears. "I don't know how I can ever repay you." "You don't have to," Keanu said. "Just take care of yourself and your baby. That's enough." For a moment there was silence, not the awkward kind, but the kind filled with unspoken gratitude. Before they hung up, he added, "One more thing, when things get better, if you ever see someone struggling the way you did, pass it on." She smiled, looking down at her growing belly. "I will." As the call ended, she realized that the world still had good people, people like Keanu Reeves. And one day, she hoped to be that kind of person for someone else. Months passed, and the woman's belly grew rounder as the days counted down to her baby's arrival. She no longer worked exhausting shifts at the gas station, and with the financial support she had received, she was able to move into a slightly better apartment, one with a small but cozy nursery ready for her child. She often thought about Keanu Reeves, not as the Hollywood star, but as the stranger who had stepped into her life at the right moment. One evening, as she folded baby clothes near the window, a noise from the street below caught her attention. She looked down and saw a young man struggling to carry several grocery bags, his clothes worn, his posture exhausted. Something in his face reminded her of herself not long ago. Without hesitation, she grabbed her coat and headed outside. The man was startled when she approached. "Do you need help?" she asked. His pride made him hesitate, but she smiled warmly. "It's okay," she said, taking a few of his bags. Together, they walked toward his small apartment a few buildings away. When they reached his door, he let out a relieved sigh. "Thank you," he murmured. She handed him an envelope. "Take this," she said. He frowned. "I can't." "You can," she interrupted gently. "And you will. No one should have to struggle alone." The man looked at her, eyes filled with disbelief and gratitude. "Why?" he asked. She smiled, remembering the night at the gas station, the envelope Keanu had left her, the phone call that had changed everything. "Because someone once did the same for me." As she walked away, she felt the baby kick inside her, as if agreeing with her choice. She knew in that moment that kindness wasn't something to be kept. It was meant to be passed on, just like Keanu had told her.